Good morning, my fellow family, friends, and colleagues. This is your girl, Dr. Charity, aka the Queen of Divas, and I'm here to give you your weekly encouragement on today. Well, on this beautiful, gorgeous, it is a beautiful, gorgeous day, maybe gloomy. Yeah, gloomy. I can agree with you on that one. The gloom is out there. Uh, a There's a storm out on the ocean, and it's moving this way. Just make sure you anchor in Jesus so you don't drift away. But with all that being said, it's still a blessing out there, regardless of what it looks like. So I'm here to encourage. That's just your beginning encouragement right there to somebody who's tuning in today. Regardless of what it looks like today, know something. It's still a blessing. There's still something happening. You may can't see it. Hey, I'm on your side with that because I sure can't see it. I know, as I told you, I've been feeling for the past month, just like Ariel. I don't know when. You gotta forgive me, my singing voice is a little bit out because the allergies has now took away my high tip voice. Not necessarily all my voice, but it took away my high tip. But guess what? I'm still here. So, just to say it, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I do know something's starting right now. Something's happening. That much I can tell you. That much I can tell you. Something's happening. I just don't know when and I just don't know how. But I know something is happening. And I'm telling somebody today and encouraging somebody today. It's happening. You can't tell, such as myself, I can't tell. But I know it's happening. So I'm encouraging somebody regardless of what it looks like today. Just because you don't see no rainbow and no sun don't mean that there's not a silver lining nor a bright sunny day a-coming, because it is. But regardless of whether or not it's gloomy today or sunny today, it's still a great day. It's still a blessed day for you and for me, because guess what? We still here. The blessing is still on you, or you wouldn't be around right now. You'd be carried away and being prepped for somebody to view you if you weren't blessed. So the blessing is on you today. For he reigns upon the just as well as the unjust. So you're seeing. You're seeing the blessing. Don't you see the beam? Still see some of the beam gleam and glow, don't you know? So it's still there. But even with all the gloominess, there's still a reflection. Which means, along with that blessing that everybody's getting, from the lowest of the ant to the biggest of the bear and the buffalo, because every last animal is blessed just like a human being, or they wouldn't be able to survive. Not here on this earth. But along with that, regardless if the natural sun is shining like usual, the spiritual sun still shines. So, the favor still wants to shine to you today and through you. But my question is always remaining the same to you on today. Are you ready? Are you ready for it? Are you ready to see and experience the favor? It's nothing like it. There's greater reward when you experience on your life the hand of the Lord. I'm going to say that again for somebody. There's greater reward in your life when you experience on your life the hand of the Lord. It's just like my significant other said. He who findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor from God. That's it. He quoted that scripture to me. And I'm looking blown away like, what? Okay. So is that what you want? You ready for that? Because I want to see this. Oh yeah, I gotta have a front row seat to see that. Which I'm watching the movie now, so we watching it play out. But again, I'm gonna let God reveal. I can't talk. I ain't nothing I can let out until God reveals himself and it happens. So I'm leaving it up to God, all in his hands. So with that being said, let's go right into it. I want to talk to somebody today. Does anybody feel like, I'm just going to go right into it and ask you a brief question. To whom is tuning in today? Anybody feel like that you are being criticized for everything that you do? Every itsy bitsy little thing that you do? Anybody feel like that? Today that's tuning in. Let's ask it from a different perspective. Does anybody feel like that when it just feels like that somebody or anything in life in general is trying to particularly leave you out? It's particularly looking for something that you're doing just to critique it. Not to celebrate, not to compliment, but to critique. And it's not looking on the surface in general. It's purposely trying. Does anybody feel like somebody's purposely trying to go in? Feel like they're being purposely zoomed in to find something wrong? Does anybody feel like that? Okay, because if that's you who I'm talking to. I want you to come here. Lend me your ear. Come here. Lend me your ear. Come here. You who I'm talking to. If I had to give this weekly encouragement a title, it would simply be Focus on the Big Picture. I've talked about this before, but I want to come back around and say it from a different perspective. I think previously I said focus on the purpose, but today I'm going to keep it simple. Focus on the big picture. I believe, let that resonate, I'm going to say it again. Focus on the big picture. I believe that all of us can do all things, as Kurt Franklin said, all the big and the small things. But I believe that a lot of us get carried away by looking at small, fine things. There's nothing wrong with the fine print. That's where the detail lies. But a lot of times we focus so much on the fine print that we fail to see what the real reason for the fine print is for. We fail to realize where the fine print is coming from because we're too busy looking in. Let me tell you, let me explain it. Let me break it down to you. So I was watching and meditating this past week, and I heard T.D. Jakes talk about how when you're focusing on, you don't focus, stop focusing. We focusing and worrying about the little and small things that we got no business focusing and worrying about. And because of that, you missing God himself, whom holds the purpose and the reasoning for the fine print that you trying to look and worry about. So you missing the whole boat because you too busy trying to look at how the sea is. Get on the boat first and then worry about when you actually go on your voyage. You looking at the fine print, trying to determine if the boat is perfect and missing the whole journey. Which we as human, he was right. And that stuck with me all during the week because I said, that's as human beings, That's a lot of our issues. We can see that everything is not perfect, but it's A-okay to go for it. Regardless if that's your career, the business, the house, the car, the marriage, the school, we can see that it's A-okay, but we too busy trying to look. After we done got the confirmation, we still as human beings taking that microscope, and instead of what we supposed to do is look in and say, scope it out. But then once we scope it, we don't want to believe it. So we take the microscope, go right in there, and zoom in trying to find the smallest issue. And then say, And I can tell you right now, me just coming down to earth, helping somebody today and encouraging. It's a lot of folks, a lot of holy rollers, a lot of church folks is like that. Which this is why I tell everybody, I love the Lord and have a pure relationship, but I am not a traditionalist. So I'm not the one that's going to take the microscope and zoom in and tell you what not and what to. There's boundaries and values, but that don't lie with everything. That's the problem. And even Pastor Keon talked about that, how the church is now running the best folks away. Because you're trying to look for something in a perfect package, and as Pastor Keon said, it ain't there. You've just got to adapt and adjust and accept that God can use whatever he wants. If he can use a donkey, he can use whatever he feels. You cannot sit there and choose an any, meeny, mighty, mo. So I'm telling somebody today, focus on the big picture. There's something greater where this fine print is coming from. Don't sit there and zoom in trying to get perfection out of the small stuff. Okay? So the position may not be the position you applied for. But if you start where you're supposed to be, you're going to attain what is necessary that's going to catapult you to the next level. It's all about being in the right place at the right time, not necessarily it being right. Because at the end of the day, it's a process. Just because you may not have 100 folks investing in the business don't mean that the business doesn't have any potential. Start with the 5 that you got and work on it. Just because that it did not, you are struggling to learn, and the learning is not easy, doesn't mean that you cannot learn. I give a beautiful testimonial from me. After I had a great first semester when I started to work on my master's in credentialing to become a licensed therapist. It was beautiful first semester, but by the second semester, stuff started happening. Life started happening, and I had a humongous hiccup, which I had something similar like this in my regular personal life. Not just at school, I had this in my personal life, so I was used to this. I just ain't never seen it as far as the educational part, but I have seen it like this. So I was like, oh my God, how am I going to ever recover from this? But with the grace of God, I'm a living testimony. With the grace of God, not only did I recover from it and rebound, guess what? You're looking at a newly inducted Honor Society member. I was just inducted last week. Notice I did say this is for the license and credentialing to be a therapist. This is my master's program, not a bachelor's, not an associate's. This is to actually become the credentialed therapist in the state of North Carolina. Honor Society. I said it. Did I stutter? You heard me. Which is nothing but proof to you, whoever's tuning in today. When you focus on the big picture, the big goal, then the little things don't really take the cake. It's nothing to worry about because you know the little things, as the scripture says, If you seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, all these things will be added unto you. That shall come with the territory. But we as human beings got a problem trying to seek perfection, trying to honestly. That's the more professional way to put it. You want to put it in layman's terms? I put it in layman's terms for you. We got an issue of trying to make it out to be what we see from our preference and make it perfect. Yeah, I just said it down to earth. We don't know how to just accept that this is the way God wants. So let God do what he's trying to do and use who he wants to use. Let me go. I'm going to go and tell this from my own experience of where I'm learning this most. Because everything else in my life, as I told you. So I'm going to give you a mini testimony just to help you out and tell you how meaningful, how important it is for everybody tuning in today to focus on the big picture. Focus on the purpose that lies ahead. Focus on the goal that is coming towards you. Don't focus on the fine print. Don't focus on the little things. Yes, you can do all things, the big and the small things. But the focus is where this fine print and small print is coming, where this small aspect is coming from. Don't focus on it like this is it. That ain't it. Because you focus on that as it and you're going to miss the whole purpose. Because you sitting there looking at little small things. And I'm going to give you my own mini testimony. Let me tell you from what I'm learning right now. So I told you, in my life, everything in my life has a blueprint. Except the love story. Because I ain't never had it real with nobody. I ain't never had a good experience with nobody. I ain't never been with a real man. I've always been the one actually taking the man's hand in all my serious relationships, guiding them, trying to teach them and tell them how to do so that you can come out on top. This is my first time actually a man taking my hand and saying, no, you did your part. No, you're doing exactly what you need to do. Let me do this. So I noticed something. With my significant other, the one that I hold close to my heart, I know what we discussed when we discuss and reconcile, because like I told you, I didn't see this happening a mile away. I really said, okay, that's I guess that's just how it works sometimes. Not expecting more, but more came. So when we talked and reconciled, the conversation was to confirm what the goal was. And when he came back and talked to me, his goal really was marriage. He said that. That's not my words, that's his. Now, I had already told him when we first dated, which was a while ago, that was my ultimate goal. But of course, I won't try to rush no relationship. Not when you're dating. You got to get to know one another. And now at this aspect where we're at today, as I will open up and elaborate on, it's a different story. Our relationship is now on a different level than it was previously. So I said, okay. And I noticed something while we are working on this relationship, while we are building. I'm not going to, it's work, but it's honestly building. It's this right here, where we're at in our relationship now is not building the foundation. This is not dating. This is basically, you might as well just saying building a house so we can go ahead and create home for me, him, and the family. That's what this is going on. But I said all that to say this. I noticed something. I love communication. I love to talk. I love to share. I love to be informed. I also love quality time. That's one of my two biggest love languages. I love it. But something I was wondering when we begin to reconcile and work on the relationship, I said, I wonder why for the first time It's not like the fact that we didn't talk, because one thing about me and mine, we can talk all day. When we dated, there were multiple days a week that we would talk, and that could easily turn into an hour and a half to 3 hours on the phone, not in person, on the phone. So you can imagine when we got in person, you couldn't pull us apart from one another, and it's still like that today. Today is even worse, but that's in a good way. So I question why now am I so at peace that we don't talk like that? Why don't we talk like that? I begin to question. Why does it, at one point in time, I wanted to know. Now, it's like, well, as long as he sees, he knows. And it became and dawned on me that your relationship has now came to a place where everybody here, the relationship foundation has been laid. This is not honeymoon stage. That's what's happening. What did you say that y'all discussed, that he discussed with you and confirmed? Marriage. Well, that's why it ain't like that. You ain't getting to know one another. Y'all preparing to go to the next level, which is more than just talking on the phone and having a date. That's nothing. I mean, ain't nothing wrong. Communication is great, and quality time is great, and is necessary to keep the relationship going, to keep the fire brewing. I agree with you on that. Nobody's saying that it ain't needed. But sometimes, as I told you, sometimes we looking at the small things and failing to realize, if you become Mrs., you're gonna have there gonna be communication. If y'all communicated when you're dating and you still can communicate now, girl, the reason why you ain't communicating like that's because the goal is the focus is not about us talking to each other and getting to know. You done already graduated from that area. The focus now is to actually, for the wife and the husband to get for the bride to prepare herself and the groom to come get his bride. That's the focus now. That's why you ain't talking like that. Oh, you can still talk. Cause how many times have y'all gotten on the phone when y'all did? And how long was the conversation? 2 to 3 hours. Bingo. So you still got the chemistry. No, y'all just at a place now where y'all know that y'all have the vibe, the bond, and the chemistry. So y'all, if the honeymoon phase is gone, y'all mature. Your focus now is on the big picture. The big picture is coming together as a union, as one. Husband and wife. That's where the focus is at. That's why you ain't got to communicate like that. That's why the quality time, it's not the fact that y'all don't spend. We spend a lot of time together. But there was a time where you were looking for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. Where now it's like, well, as long as we spend time with one another, that's all that matters. I give one more example. I was tuning in for those who are less spiritual. Trill talked about the podcaster from Instagram. Trill said, when a person really likes somebody, it gets to the point where nobody's really looking at who contacts who texts who called, who made date plans. It gets to the point where everybody just comes to the table and does it as a team. It don't matter who did it first, which he has a point. When you get to that point, as I just said, that you got a bond and you got a true vibe and chemistry, it doesn't matter who does what. It doesn't matter, because as long as you get to talk and you get to communicate and everybody is informed and everybody spends time, it don't matter. It can be the whole day and it can be 10 minutes. As long as you spent time, all that matters is that I was here and I saw you. I saw the one that I love and hold dear to my heart. You ain't looking for that other stuff, which goes back to what I'm telling you. That's just an example from mine. I'm learning not to look at the fine print. That communication and that time of spending every 5, 6, 7 hours a week with somebody every week was my focus on the small print, instead of realizing you do realize you're going to be able to spend, so you so busy trying to spend 5 and 6 hours, 7 hours a week, when really the big picture is you can spend every day with this individual. It may not be every moment, but instead of you and him having to meet, guess what? He'll be right there. Instead of having to call on the phone, guess what? You'll be able to talk face to face on a consistent basis. But where is your focus at? And that's what I'm asking you today. Are we focusing on the small and little things? Or are we focusing on the big picture? I'm just using my mini testimony to tell somebody today. Let's not focus on the fine print. Let's not worry about things that come with it. I told you. I give one last fun fact. It's just like what I heard one time. A woman said a man does not get married to get laid with a woman. He gets married for her emotional, mental, and spiritual support. That's what he getting married for. What other women don't bring to the table. All women got the physical and this side of them. He don't need to get married for that. That's not what he getting married for. And that's only because real husband material understand that the physical and this side of it comes with the territory if he presents himself as the husband and takes his wife. All these things is going to be added to you. So you ain't need to focus on that. That's too small. That ain't even the reason for you getting married. I'm just using it as a fun fact to tell you on today. Go through this week and focus on the big picture. Focus on what God promised you, not the small things that's making, because that ain't nothing but distraction, honey. That's distracting you from getting to where you need to be. Don't fall for it. You're going somewhere. Look at the big picture. See it? Okay. Keep going. Don't put all the emphasis into that because you're trying to perfect something so small that you forget about the whole plan, just like I've done. And I'm constantly, with the help of God, saying, you know what, Charity? What is the goal? What did he tell you? Oh, okay. Step back and let God do it. Stop worrying about that. Let it happen, okay? Because I already got caught. I'm like Shawnee Henderson, Pastor Keon's wife. Because of what I've been through, I already got caught a few times where mine's got me in a most loving manner, funny manner too. But he got me. It's like, girl, can you allow me to just do what I need to do? Can you allow me? Allow me to screw up first before we decide to come to the rescue. I mean, you want Superman. Let Superman come and save the day first before we actually try to correct Superman that he missed something. And I was like, oh, well, when you put it like that, okay, never mind. I'm just not used to it. Okay. And I'm telling you today, just don't focus on the fine print. Focus on the big picture. Focus on the ultimate goal that he has promised you. Don't focus on the small print. Don't be distracted. I'm just giving this because I want to tell somebody that there's greater and bigger waiting. Stop looking at the small stuff. Because you focus on the small stuff, then you settle for small and miss the big. Did anybody catch that? Let me close with that. When you focus on the small, you are settling for the small and missing the big. Don't do that. Don't miss out on what he has for you by focusing on the small things. It's something waiting for you. It's something coming to you and happening right now. And as Pastor Mike Jr. said, and it's going to be big. It's big. But you need to focus on the big picture, not the small things. Because you don't want to settle for the small things and miss what's big. And big awaits for you. All right? Well, that's all that I have for you on today. But tune in next week for another weekly encouragement. Please go on to YouTube and subscribe to Lady Superwoman. That's Lady Superwoman 9999. That's 4 9s on YouTube for all of your weekly motivations. And remember, going through this week, focus on the big picture, not the small things, because you will settle and miss out on the big thing that awaits just for you. I love you. See you next week. Bye-bye.